What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Tech Spaces cubing video. Today we have the GAN 251 UI. Let's go ahead and unbox it. So the first thing I'd like to point out is that this box is very similar to the GAN 12 UI maglev box. The fact that it has the cube right here in the center with this layer turned 45 degrees. As you can see, it is the same size as a normal GAN box. This is a GAN 16 box. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this package open. So first things first, we see our identification card. GAN started making these cards much thinner and out of cardstock rather than out of plastic, which is done to, I guess, help the environment, but it also feels much more cheap. So we have our cube and the accessories. Let's go ahead and take a look. You can see that the cube is packaged in the GAN box V6. So this was the same box that was used in the GAN 11 series and the GAN 251 M Pro and the Leap. You can see on the back that there are two stickers that have been added. The top sticker has a warning on it, and it says, "The positioning corner piece must not be twisted or dismantled, as this will damage the battery structure." And this hints to the 251's brand new charging mechanism, which actually uses wireless inductive charging, as you can see right here on the box. And I'll go ahead and show you guys later. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories. As you can see, the box for the accessories is very nice. It says 251 UI. Alright, so the first thing we have here is our standard USB-A to USB Type-C cable. The next thing we have is our updated charger. So this is GAN's brand new wireless inductive charging, and it's designed to hold the cube while it charges. And on the bottom it says, "Insert the yellow, orange, blue corner. Yellow side faces the charger's logo," and that's how you charge the cube. The next thing we have is our standard blue GAN bag. This is different from the black GAN bags that you receive with their 3x3 smart cubes. Next up we have our instruction manuals. This one is for the 251 UI. And as always, I'll attach a picture of these manuals in the description if you want to take a look. And this is all you need to know about a smart cube, including charging it, also tuning it. And as you can see, it has the updated GES Pro Plus system rather than the old GES nuts, which you had to swap out. One thing I've noticed about this manual is that they don't use GAN's standard font. They use actually an Arial font. But on the back side, they use GAN's normal font. So this manual is just how to solve a 2x2. All right, moving on. Final things we have in our box is our brand new updated GES adjustment system. So this is similar to the fire hydrant, except it doesn't have the two bits for removing the corner core magnets. And finally, we have our standard sword adjustment tool. This was introduced on the GAN 13, and this is probably used to adjust the corner core magnets. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the cube. There we go. So the first thing you can notice is that it has a very nice shiny UV coating, and once you look past that, you can see that it uses the updated GES Pro Plus system. And one thing to note is that it's made out of white plastic, just like the GAN 16, so this might be something that we'll start seeing as we go forward. So there are 3 axis distance adjustments, and there are 4 tension or spring adjustments. So this functions exactly like a modern GES system would work, except it is now in a 2x2, which is super cool. And the rest of the box is just our standard GAN 11 box with our 251 insert. So there's a sticker that indicates that this is the wireless charging surface, but it is on the wrong corner. So I remember reading that this corner was the charging corner. However, they put the sticker on this corner instead, which is interesting to say the least. Okay, so I was just editing this video right here, and I completely overlooked the fact that the logo is facing the wrong way. You can see here that the GAN logo is facing the orange side, but since like the beginning of time, GAN logos have always faced the green side. Like this is the 251 M Pro, and even with like the 3x3s, this is the GAN V100, you can see that the logo is facing the green side. There's like this tinge of green on this side. And even with other products, like this is GAN's plushie, it's also facing the green side. So this is like super weird. Like, why would GAN do this? Also, the other interesting thing is that this yellow, orange, blue corner, this is supposed to be the charging corner. So it sits like this. But in the video, you could see that there was a sticker that labeled this corner as the charging corner. And this corner, it doesn't charge. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, it doesn't even stand up straight. Like the GAN logo is facing the wrong way. So I don't know why they put the sticker on this corner. And the last weird thing about this cube, besides the instruction manual randomly being an Arial for some reason, is that this
side, you can kind of see there's a green peg that connects the GES system to the core, while there's also one on the red side, but the other sides have nothing. This is just a clear peg, this is a clear peg, this is a clear peg. It's just these two sides, so I don't know why they would do that. It's really weird. And sure, yeah, this is probably for orientation purposes. Like if you take apart the cube and you want to put it back together, you should always know that this is going to be the red side, because a central corner in a 2x2 relies on 3 centers to be connected to that corner. So I don't know why they cheaped out and only tinted 2 colors. That's really weird. Also, I just want to say that I got this cube early in Shanghai, China. Same with my GAN 16, I got these both at the GAN store in Shanghai. So these might just be like pre-production, pre-global distribution issues, but anyways, back to the video.
First turns. This cube is very, very loose. Extremely fast. Getting some minor catches. I'm getting some minor catches. These catches are present with the standard 251 and Pro's piece design. However, the high speed of this cube causes those catches to be much more prevalent. If I use the same strength of my finger to do this flick, I'm getting 2 turns. So you can see that this cube is much more fast. So let's go ahead and take apart this cube. As you can see, there is our very small electronic ball core. There are indeed some core magnets. And it looks like there are 6 magnet adjustments, so that's just like the GAN 13. So the default setting is setting 3. Now it's on 1. So the magnet on the outside is actually not moving in itself. It's encased with plastic, and the magnet underneath this plastic shell is actually moving up and down. So this is just like the GAN 16 where they covered the magnet in plastic. So you can see some similarities between GAN's design philosophy from a few years ago versus GAN's design philosophy now. Let's take apart this old cube and compare. So once you take them apart, you can get a really good look at the internals. So if we compare these internal edges, the one on the right is of the 251 UI, and the one on the left is of the 251 M Pro. This torpedo right here is a lot shorter on the 251 UI, and this is probably to accommodate the larger core. On this core, there's a lot more space for that torpedo, and on this core, they had to reduce the size of that torpedo. They basically just squashed the torpedo. They made the torpedo thinner, they made it wider. So I'm not sure what benefits that has. I don't think that the thickness of the torpedo really matters in this context, but having a wider torpedo increased the stability a bit. But other than that, there is no other difference. So now let's compare the 2 corners. There really isn't that much difference in the corners. The magnets on the 251N Pro sticks out a little bit more than the one on the 251 UI. However, the ball core is larger on the 251 UI. So all that means is that the radius of activation of these core magnets is a bit smaller, since it's farther away from the core. Other than that, there is no other difference with the piece design. So the main difference is with these magnets and with the internal edges. Alright, let's examine the cores a bit more. Okay, so I do not want to disassemble this further, since this corner is the anchored corner, and it's anchored by these 3 edges, which have hooks in them, and they connect to the centerpiece. I think this cube uses Hall effect sensors instead of rotary encoders, which is surprising considering the price, 399 RMB, and that translates to $55 US. And it's surely going to be much more expensive in the US from retailers like The Cubicle or Speedcube Shop. Okay, so now let's take a look at the adjustment system. As mentioned previously, there are 3 axis distance adjustments, and the default setting is 3. And there are also 4 spring adjustments, and the default setting is 3. So currently it's on the second tightest tension setting and the loosest axis distance setting. And that is a bit concerning that it is super fast on the second tightest tension setting, because usually as you increase tension, you decrease speed. However, in this case, even on the second tightest tension setting, the cube is still ridiculously fast. So this is definitely a cube that you want to use slow lube on. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get this cube back together and connect it to the app so we can go ahead and do some test solves. Before we connect it to the app, I would like to test out the inductive wireless charging system. Let's go ahead and plug this right in. So this charger plug is really light. Okay, this goes in. As you can see, it started charging immediately. Not sure if you can see, but there is a small light, and right now it is glowing blue. The red light is blinking inside the cube. So this is overall a really cool technology of charging the cube. Alright, so now let's go ahead and connect it to the app and do some solves. I'm going to do this stock right out of the box to be able to evaluate the performance of the cube stock. Let's see if we can get the cube to show up here. There we go, GAN 251 UI. There's a gyroscope too, which is something that you should definitely expect for this price. Guess we could start doing some ranking matches. Ranking matches are not available for 2x2. I guess we can start doing some arena matches then. So it looks like there aren't actually that many 251 UI users, given that the world leaderboard only goes up to 20 and the 20th place person has a 20-second solve. So I think we could definitely place somewhere on this leaderboard. Let's go ahead and do some solves. "28 steps, 5 TPS. Ortega automatically detects the method." Okay, so one thing I've noticed is that the gyroscope doesn't stay aligned. I have to turn it around. There we go. Right, let's go ahead and keep on doing these 20 solves and see what time I get.
Alright, just some like final concluding thoughts on the 251 UI. I'm recording this voiceover 6 months after I filmed this video, and I've gotten the chance to since set it up and do a couple hundred solves on it. And me being someone who averages high 3s now on 2x2 isn't fully qualified to definitely like give the full opinions on the viability of hardware for world-class solvers. But then again, I do have a pretty good idea what makes a good cube in general, and I do think that this cube is definitely a good cube for what it is. The technology is obviously really cool, and from having like a full-on numerical IPG in a 2x2 to like having inductive wireless charging, those are some really cool technologies. And the performance itself is also really great. They didn't really change the piece design, so this still has like the world-class leading hardware that has set so many world records. And I also do like the speed. As many of you might know, I enjoy fast cubes, and even the lightest springs in the 251N Pro, I had a really hard time getting that cube up to speed. That is definitely not a problem here, and I think that if you prefer the controllability, you might actually have a hard time slowing this cube down. This cube does have a similar speed to the V100 maglev, so if you've tried that cube, then you will definitely know what I'm talking about. But then there is, of course, the elephant in the room. This cube has been released on GamCube.com's global store for $79 US. There was a bit of backlash regarding the Wapo V5 AI, especially regarding the entire point of a smart 2x2. Right, smart 2x2s are generally like a very bad idea if you want to get good at 2x2. The Wapo V5 was $75 US, and this cube is $80, so it's like $5 more expensive, and it definitely does not justify its price. So even if I wouldn't buy this cube or necessarily recommend it, I do like where GAN 2x2s are headed. Like this 2x1 UI is clearly a teaser for the next generation of their 2x2, just like how Moyu teased their next generation Wapo V5 with the Wapo V5 AI. And I think that this does make the next 2x2 a really interesting proposition. I think that we're in for like an amazing cube, just from the nice crunchy hand feel and the refreshing burst of speed from the 251 UI alone. But yeah, in conclusion, this is definitely like a great release. I wouldn't recommend most people buy it, but if you are trying to collect like GAN flagships, you have like some disposable income, I don't think you would regret this purchase. And with that, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
So right now I'm ranked #1 in the USA, since I am, I guess, the only one in the US who has a 251 UI. Okay, so I guess the USA has its own separate leaderboard. Alrighty, so thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing and first impressions of the 251 UI. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like down below, and as well, please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.